Hello, everyone. This is the Cluster API Office Hour meetings. Today is October the 12th. And before starting, some notes. So if you have topics that you want to discuss, feel free to add them to the meeting agenda. I'm sharing the link in chat. And in order to add to the meeting agenda, you have to subscribe to the SIG Lifecycle mailing list. Last note is that this meeting abides to the CNCF code of conduct, so be kind with each other. So let's get this rolling. So first of all, let's start by welcoming new attendees. Every meeting, we give a room to new attendees to introduce themselves and say hello to everyone. Is there some new attendee today? Okay, seems not. So let's move on. Open proposal readout. So today I give a first update and then I let others to speak. So today we reached the lazy consensus deadline for two proposals, which are Cluster API DON orchestration and cluster resource set reconcile mode. I have approved them before the meeting, and they are now merged. And congrats to everyone who worked on this proposal. But yeah, I see Jonathan is willing to say hello to everyone, so I let him speak.
Oh, I guess I don't have much to say. I just Mike Tugaron, he's attending from Adobe and reminded me about this meeting, so I thought I'd join too.
Jonathan, if you want to speak later, feel free to opt in. So let's continue with open proposal readout. So first of all, I remove this one from the list because they are now merged. Is there someone that wants to give some updates on other proposals? Seems not. The only progress that I'm aware of is there are progress on machine to node label propagation. Please take a look for review. Stefan, you want to add something?
Maybe just a question about the first two, because I think they're kind of in the state since, I don't know, a year. And as far as I could see, there wasn't any kind of updates for a very long while. I don't know if you should ping folks again if they still want to work on it, or I don't know. No problems with tracking it. It just feels like, yeah, nobody's really doing something on it.
I think let's do another round of ping, and then eventually we put them on hold. If this makes sense. Okay, thank you, Stefan. Let's move on to discussion topic. The first one is Jonathan, but I think this one is resolved now. Jonathan?
Yeah, I guess it's no longer lazy consensus. I was going to ask about that. I guess, first of all, I did want to thank everybody who helped out on the proposal. We got a lot of comments, which is super helpful in getting it moving forward. I did also want to ask what everybody thought about next steps as far as this project goes. And since I do have a working prototype for the add-on controller, so I was wondering if folks had any preference about putting it in its own Kubernetes SIGs repo eventually, or trying to bring it into CAPI.
Someone wants to comment on this? I can give my opinion. So first of all, thank you for driving this work and bringing it till the end. So my opinion is an important piece of the puzzle for Cluster PI. With regards to the future of this project, let me say I have kind of a little bit of bias. Personally, I really would like to see this as a SIG project. At the same time, if I put my hat of tech lead of the SIG, in my opinion, it will really help if when this project joins the SIGs, there is some company or a group of people basically being the seeding community for this project going forward. And so maybe we can try to make this happen. I think that giving an update in this meeting is a way to give visibility. We can maybe collaborate on some blogs, something to get some traction on the project. But I see Cecilia with this hand raised. Cecilia, go on.
Yeah, I think in terms of groups of people, the Azure folks are definitely interested in seeing this move forward and want to keep contributing to it. And this is, I think, really critical for us, especially for the Azure external cloud provider integration. And this is becoming a very time-sensitive topic as the cloud providers are all like completing migration in the next few Kubernetes releases. I'm guessing this will also be interesting to others who have external cloud providers who want to find a better mechanism for installing those as part of the cluster creation. So it would be great if we can get a group of cross-company people together that are interested in helping review PRs and maintain the project. That being said, I think we might want to do it the other way around, because once people start contributing to a project outside the SIG, I know it's harder to get it into the SIG if those people didn't have like CLAs and things like that. And I think it would be great if we can benefit from the infrastructure of Kubernetes SIG's repo right away, like in terms of like PROW having CI and especially like the CLA signing automation. So yeah, I don't know if that's like good enough for as an entry point for like Kubernetes SIG's acceptance, but that's where I see it.
Yeah, personally, if let me say, we will talk. It is on my agenda. It's something that I have to talk with you at KubeCon. But I think that if Microsoft is behind this as a seeding group, it will be easy to get it approved by SIG, by the SIG leaders. So next step, in my opinion, should be come to the SIG meeting. I don't remember if there will be one before KubeCon or the next one will be after KubeCon, and basically present the idea to SIG leaders, and then get this going. Cecile?
Is there a way we can open an issue to start like this process async, or do we have to come to the meeting to kick off the request?
I think that we can use why not using the SIG mailing list? Because I'm not sure that, for instance, Justin is looking to a specific repo or which one to use for SIG generic topics like this one. So let's, if Jonathan or you can write an email to the SIG mailing list, for sure, then we can eventually ping Vince. Lubomir is here, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if he agrees on this approach. Lubomir?
I think previously we had the case where we created the issue in Kubernetes community. The feature maintainers come to the SIG meeting and we +1 formally. So they can create an issue in Kubernetes community and come to a meeting.
Cool. Does that sound good to you, Jonathan?
Yeah, that sounds good. Also, I will also link the prototype in the meeting agenda for anyone who's interested in taking a look. I'm also currently working on adding some docs on how to set up the developer guide and also how to get a quick start going as well. As far as contributors go, it definitely would be great to have some cross-company collaboration on it. So it's not just Microsoft folks working on the code though. So if you're interested in contributing at some point, please reach out to me or take a look at the repo.
Great. So I see people giving positive comments on the prototype, on the idea. That let's hope that we can get this rolling soon and with a good community behind it. Thank you again, Jonathan. If there are not more comments on this topic, we can move to the next one.
Yep, just a quick FYI. I've opened a PR as follow-up to discussion last week to add a document which describes how we understand the recycling and with timelines for 1.3 and 1.4. I would keep everything as async. So I think we already have some good discussions going on. Please take a look if you are interested. I'm not sure how soon we want to get it merged, probably in the next few weeks, just to get the date finalized. So yeah, I would say if you care about it, please take a look soon. Otherwise, it might already be merged. But we definitely have definitely at least another week or something to have enough time to discuss all the things that are currently open. Yep, that's everything from my side.
That's fine for me. I think that given that the first so if I'm not wrong, the next step in this roadmap is cutting v1.3 beta 0 the 1st of November. So in my opinion, it will be great if we can get this merged by the end of next week, so before KubeCon. So when we get back from KubeCon, we can act on this one.
We can aim for end of next week, and I mean, except if you have some major blocker or something which is surface until then, which probably won't happen. But I mean, we see, of course.
Okay, sounds good to me. Someone wants to comment? I have a question, still, Stefan. Are we making progress on thinking about the release team for 1.4, or it is too early for that now? Cecilia?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we've been reaching out to people who, we posted a thread in Slack after the last meeting where we talked about this, had a lot of volunteers who replied, and I've been reaching out individually to each of them to kind of figure out where their experience and interests lie and try to find good match for roles. We're getting close to finalizing that. So once we have a first initial team, I think I'll let the release lead announce it and we can take it from there.
This sounds great. Okay, Stefan?
Yeah, maybe just one small additional comment. We also have a tracking issue now for the work that we want to do during 1.3 to set up everything for 1.4. And setting up the release team is one of the points there. I'll add a link here in the document to this issue as well.
That will be great. Thank you very much. So, okay, next one in agenda is mine. So, we now have a custom API status update and roadmap planning session at the Contributor Summit in Detroit. I don't remember which time of the day is. If I remember, it's late in the morning. It is about 50. Oh, it is just after lunch. Thank you, Stefan. And it is about 40 or 50 minutes. And this is our space. So we have a rough agenda in mind, but everything is TBD. So if someone will be in Detroit and there are some topics that he would like to talk with the other members in the community, please reach out to me. I will try to set up an agenda that we can follow, but the meeting will be very informal, and we can leave the discussion to flow freely. Comments, Stefan? Cecile?
Yeah, I just want to point out for those who aren't familiar with the Contributor Summit, it's an event that takes place on the Monday before KubeCon this year, and it requires a registration and it requires approval. It's basically trying to limit it to contributors of Kubernetes. So if you're a contributor and you have a history of contributions, you should be able to sign up and get a registration. And I put the link on the Contributor Summit word.
Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful. And if I remember well, there is also a possibility for not contributors to get invited by some contributor. So if you're interested, reach out. I will figure it out. What is the process? Okay. I think that's all for the Contributor Summit. Last point from me in agenda is should we cancel the 26th of October meeting, because most of the folks will be at KubeCon. Cecile saying yes. Okay, this makes sense. Mike, we are all looking to see people in person after a long time. A lot of +1. So, okay, I will. Jacob, yes, exactly. Registration depends on being Kubernetes org membership. If you're not a member, you can get a sponsor to invite you. Okay, we are at the end of the agenda. I don't know if there are some last second topics that we want to add to it. Mike, feel free to speak.
Yeah, I've been meaning to write a proposal about making it a little more official of how potentially to import managed clusters into CAPI, you know, more from at least from my perspective, a CAPZ and Kappa perspective. I've been kind of looking into how that might be possible and wanted to write up a proposal about that, but I wasn't sure if that would be done via an issue or a PR to some directory with an MD doc, and was just curious what the best way to go about doing that would be. Just a really detailed issue, or is it an MD doc somewhere?
Someone wants to answer? Okay, I give you, so usually we have an issue, and what we do in the first iteration of every KAEP is we start from a Google Doc, simply because in the first phase of the iteration where there are many comments, or people find comfortable to use Google Docs. It's not a mandatory step, but usually people does it. And then basically they open the PR and we go back and forth. I'm not sure if I got the idea from your brief introduction, but yeah, definitely we welcome new proposal and new idea. I don't know if Cecile or someone working on managed Kubernetes, like Richard, has opinion. Richard?
Yeah, I guess from a Kappa point of view, we've had quite a few people want to adopt a cluster. So it's already been created elsewhere and almost essentially bring that into Kappa. So generate the Kappa manifests and then have Kappa manage it going forwards. So that is quite a often asked request, but yeah, I guess out of that, I think it's very provider specific, the actual implementation. And we've looked at it previously. So yeah, it'd be good to chat more about that.
Thank you, Richard. Cecile?
Yeah, I'd also love to be included in conversations that you have about this. And I think Jack Francis will also be interested. He's not here today, but this is something that also people have asked us of interest. I think it's harder to do for general CAPI because you can't really adopt a circle in a square if you didn't create the cluster with CAPI. But in the case of managed clusters, the shape is a little more like it's easier to adopt since it was created as the same resource type, but it would definitely be provider specific, I think. Speaking for KEBZ, I think that's something we'd want to investigate further.
Mike?
Yeah, I think it would very much be provider specific on the implementation details. I was just from my own initial thoughts, which is why I wanted to start a conversation with folks, is just kind of starting more with some generic concepts that we may be able to adopt so that, you know, the individual providers, as we implement them potentially on the managed service side, we can at least make them kind of at least feel similar, so that it's not just radically different in the way in which people go about doing it. So that's all I was thinking with that. So I was thinking start with the proposal on the CAPI side that then could be adopted on the more specific cloud provider managed service side.
Yeah, this is really an interesting day. It seems that people are keen to be part of this discussion. So thank you, Mike, for kicking this off. I was thinking to something similar from a problem similar, but from a different perspective. This is one of the topics that I would like to kind of bring up at KubeCon, because it is a nice, fun discussion. So what I was playing around is the following idea that there is a way, or there could be a way to move workloads from one cluster to another. So it is another take of the same problem. Instead of adopting an existing cluster, basically we move workloads in a seamless way from one cluster to another. This is probably it is orthogonal to what we're proposing, but it kind of falls in the same space. Yeah, if I manage to do it, I will bring up the discussion at KubeCon, and of course prepare a document that everyone can comment offline in the next days. Mike, yes, happy to share. I have only to carve out some time to get this in a good shape. Okay. So, any other last second topic? Great. So, thank you everyone for participating to today's meeting. See you next week.